Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. We're live from the Let's Tea office here in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. I hope everybody is having a great day, great start to your week, finding some wonderful things to be optimistic about, and getting through this week, this month. Uh, I kind of want to talk today a little bit about the progress that's been made. It seems as if um, perhaps we've passed the peak of Bitcoin. Quiet boy. Security system going off. That we've possibly passed the peak of the negative effects of COVID-19. Not to say that we've passed the peak by far of all of the secondary responses to this event, but at least now we can start working towards the future and definitely doing that without fear. I think that we should have been doing that from the very beginning, and that's the whole reason why I started doing these daily live videos to, help people remain optimistic and, focus towards a bright future. I know that there's been a lot of things, especially for
I think
a small business owner, that can seem kind of futile in these times. That the whole world is up against you, and I really just want to encourage people to see beyond that, and that the world is actually not against us. In fact, the world is working for us. If we see ourselves as a part of the whole, then of course you're always going to see that everything is working for us, just as if we're working for it. So all of this mindfulness around the environment and around the products that we consume and enjoy is all related to this, that it's really important for us to see ourselves as a part of a whole. So yeah, the world's not working against you. It's not working against me. Now, there may be some energies that are not, and these are not natural energies. These are not things that are out of our control. These are all things that are definitely in our control. These are all man-made. Hi, team. Good to see you. Yeah, these are all kind of man-made oppressive consequences of a lack of mindfulness, a lack of understanding each of ourselves as individuals, as part of the whole, as being the whole. So, yeah, that was my little philosophy rant at the beginning of this. But in relation to talking about the industry, which now we'll go on to my tea industry update, which for the third week now, I've seen World Tea News has not hosted an update. So now more than ever, we do need a little bit of an update from the industry. And what I thought I'd talk about today is the update around kind of this philosophical idea of the world working against us, right? So specialty tea business owners are, particularly small business owners, working a very hard uphill battle to try to find profitability and prosperity in tea business. It's a challenge. It really is. And so particularly it makes sense that you would feel in these kind of challenging times that the odds are particularly against you. And today's update, I kind of wanted to talk about and remind that we're all facing a struggle, not just the small businesses, not just the businesses that are trying to do good work, trying to share good tea around the world and be more ethical, but even the big guys too. So the article that I read today that I found pretty fascinating is related to a very large beverage company, perhaps the largest beverage company in the world, Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola has seen a 25% drop in their volume. I don't know what that means for revenue. It's just that was volume of their total product produced. 25% drop, which is just kind of an incredible number. Considering, you think about the closure of the economy and kind of the lockdowns in each state that we've all been employing to react to this event, to this pandemic, has been a little unbalanced, right? And so again, the small business probably feels that everything is working against them. Why do the independents, individually owned restaurants have to close while the fast food restaurants can remain open and the grocery stores can remain open? And so yeah, it feels like everybody else is suffering. The small business, the sustainable small business, is suffering and not allowed to work, not allowed to serve the community. But then Walmart, of course, is doing great now. But I don't think that it's really fair to assume that those imbalances are across the board, because just like in this article, a big company like Coca-Cola, which if I would have guessed, I would have guessed that Coca-Cola is doing better now, because people are shopping, and they are shopping for comfort processed food, during these times. So something about a nice, refreshing Coca-Cola, could help you get through the day. But they are seeing a 25% reduction in their volume. And that's because a lot of the distribution channels that Coca-Cola is relying on, are slower. And I remember back when I was in undergrad, I read a story. This was like during the time when I was like learning about the Farm Bill and all the regulations around food safety and whatnot, and read a story about how Coca-Cola's main big launching point of how it became such a enormous company like it is now was from a collaboration with McDonald's. So McDonald's, by the way, I'm drinking a aged Shangpur from Nanoshan. I had a pretty heavy lunch, so now I'm drinking some nice, beautiful tea. Hi, Priscilla. Good to see you. Hola. So yeah, a lot of the, I was talking about the deal with McDonald's. So when McDonald's built its big franchise business model, which there's a movie that describes all of this, and it's not a documentary. It's like a real movie with Michael Keaton. I recommend watching it just so you can understand kind of the franchise business model and kind of the ethos that's required of these business leaders that create those systems. There's a movie called The Founder with Michael Keaton. I recommend you watch it. It doesn't really talk about kind of the corrupt stuff with, the corn industry and Coca-Cola and all of that, but definitely talks about the corrupt stuff of how to build, a huge centralized franchise business and kind of what's required of the people behind it to succeed at that. But yeah, so when Michael Kroc was developing that system, he built a partnership with Coca-Cola, and this was all during, it is a good movie, yeah. It's all during the time, well, if you're out of Puer, I can help you out. I'm doing free deliveries here in Vegas, so hit me up if you would like some Puer. I'll come drop some off to you. But this was during the time when high fructose corn syrup was discovered. And then the lobbyists were able to implement the Farm Bill so that they could support. Hi, Gabby. Good to see you. Thank you, my flowery Gaiwan. It's nice and big. I can make lots of tea at one time with it. So Coca-Cola had discovered a very cheap way of making their product much more affordable, and now there's this wildly popular fast food restaurant. It was just like a match made in heaven, and so that's was in that partnership was where Coca-Cola built like its biggest growth spurt when it needed it. And so I think about that, and it's like, well, McDonald's is still open, but only the drive-through. So, it means, one, that people aren't sitting there and dining in and refilling their Cokes, but it's possible that the consumption level of those things are down. I've been driving around and seeing the fast food restaurants still open and seeing lines around them, but obviously there is less consuming happening. So that's good, right? That's always been the motto and the message that I've revolved all of my work around, which is to consume less and value more. It doesn't mean that you're going to enjoy any less or like experience any less decadence. Like, I fully encourage decadence. Please indulge as much as you can. Joydeep, I am enjoying a beautiful aged old tree Shangpur from Nanoshan. You can see its color. This is just the first infusion. I didn't wash it because I've been aging it, and yeah, I know it's source. It's a clean source, so I didn't feel the need to wash it. This is just the first infusion. Really rich, dark color. So usually with the Shangpur, the raw pour, when it's not aged, the liquor would look more like a green tea, but like lighter in color, more yellowish in color. But with the age, um, it starts to darken in color and also kind of deepen in flavor. And the most magical part is the qi. And the reason why I chose to drink this tea was because I had a pretty heavy lunch. I went for a long run, beautiful sunny day, so I sweated a bunch and I was hungry, but it was a bit heavy on my stomach. So now I'm using this to wash it all down. So Priscilla, you said that you have many sick patients because of it. I'm assuming that you're talking about Coca-Cola and just processed food in general. And it's true. Like, there is a lot of negative effects from those products, and not natural, right? When I was saying at the very beginning, like, the world is not out to get you. The world is there to support you and embrace you and to strengthen you and empower you so that you can give back more to it and create a stronger system. That's how the world works. But these negative things that we're talking about are all like man-made, and they're all made with a lack of transparency of that value exchange. So if Coca-Cola was like super upfront honest about how their product was made, where it was made from, all of the like politics and the economic inequities involved in the production of their product, and that was like front and center even before the in the commercial, that would be a lot more of a transparent transaction, capitalistic transaction between Coca-Cola and the consumer. But that information is not transparent. And so that's why I think it's really important as a consumer to ask for that transparency and, not be ashamed to ask for it, even if the vendor or the retailer or whoever is trying to sell you that thing tells you, shame on you for asking that. Who's going to say that? And if they're going to say that, it's their problem, Yeah. So the world's not out to get us. The system is imbalanced, and it may be affecting some differently than others, but like in this particular time, it's like everybody is being affected, even Coca-Cola, right? So a little bit of like good news to update. So 25% less Coke being made in the world. Let's make it up with 25% more tea. Better yet, 100% more tea, 200% more tea. Good tea too. So, yeah, I feel like we've passed the peak. There have been several articles that have come out and are even breaking up state by state where different peaks are for those communities. And the articles that I've read said that Nevada is way past its peak. So, that's good news that things can start slowly opening up. But Yeah. Cheers for more tea. I feel like I can move on now. I've talked enough about that. I don't know what education. We can talk about tea. I'm always talking about tea. So I decided to make a retail brand. This is something, just kind of an extra side project, just to help support my own efforts. And through doing a lot of these live videos and interactions, have received interest from people that do want to buy tea, and I don't have a retail portion on the website for a reason. It's the goal with my business is to distribute as much tea as possible. And I learned very early on that the best way to do that is always going to be through wholesale, by supporting other tea businesses. Hi, Danny. Good to see you. Hey, do you want to join in and have a chat? I give you the link. It's the same link I've given you before. I'll type it in. Hi, Paul. Good to see you. Hey, I saw your live video yesterday. That was a lot of fun. I think live videos are super fun. Like, if you guys are feeling shy about it, yeah, I'd say just try it out. Share what you're doing with the world. You don't have to share too much, but just a short thing. I like Paul. He likes to put loud music on in his kitchen and prep food. That's good fun. We'll have to do a video together, Paul. Maybe you can do some pickling or something. I don't do a whole lot of pickling, so I don't have all the gear ready to go at my house right now at this moment. But I'm sure you do. So maybe we can do something. No, I don't do blends, Joy Deep. Sometimes I do. If somebody's asking for a custom blend, I'll work with them on it. But I usually don't do blends. All right, let me just send Danny the link so Danny can. Good. I'm glad you had a good time, Paul. It's always so empowering, after you kind of open your. Yeah, I don't see you in the Zoom room. I've got to send you to the Zoom room, Danny. Let me message you quickly. And I'll update the link on Facebook if any of you guys want to join in. We can have a chat. I haven't socialized in a bit. No one came on yesterday. Yesterday was a 420 and I was doing a feature on hemp, CBD, which is, just the sister of cannabis. Okay, Danny, I just Facebook messaged you the link. And on Facebook, if you guys want to join, let me just put this. There, you can see the link now. If you're on Facebook or on any of the streams, if you want to join in. Now, if you guys join in and I don't know who you are, please don't be offended if I kick you out of the room if you don't have your camera on. So just make sure to have your camera on when you try to come in. Yeah, I sent it on Facebook Messenger, Danny. But the link is bit.ly/tealetteaparty. All right, she's here. See how quick that is. Hi, Danny.
/tealetteaparty.
Yeah.
All right. Here.
Can you turn? Maybe you have the video playing on Instagram or something.
I'm cooking.
Oh, you're cooking? What are you cooking?
Hi, Danny. Hi, how are you? Wait, let me. Yeah. Sorry, I was hearing something for joining you.
Mango fruit leathers. Oh, my friend Paul said that.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Danny. Yes. Yeah, my friend Paul, he's been doing a lot of cooking himself, and he told me he's making some mango fruit leathers. I love that. I love
You
fruit
should
weather.
join us so we can cook. Like here in Brazil, it's 7 p.m. So I'm hungry. I'm in the kitchen now. I'm gonna cook something while talking
Great.
to you.
Yeah,
So
please
you can
do.
join us and we can chat, drink tea, and cook.
Yeah, Paul, if you want to join in, come on in. You know the drill.
What are you having, Elise?
I am drinking an aged Shangpur, an old tree Shangpur. I had
Wow.
a pretty heavy lunch, so nice color,
Yeah, indeed.
super rich. Help.
I have only one aged pour from an ancient tree.
Mm-hmm.
From It's from Lahu tribe. It's like
Oh
an
wow.
ethnic.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, it's really good. Doesn't get that dark though.
How long have you been aging it?
Since 2014.
Okay.
I have that one. The leaves are loose. It's a loose leaf one. It's not actually a pour. Actually, it's not a dark tea, but it tastes like shang pour. Uh, but then I do have another one which is a pour,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been eating it since 2014 as well,
Mm-hmm.
and it's delicious. It's even like pressed and everything. So the guy who's making it, his father is Chinese, his mother is Lahu, so he's making like these experiments.
Oh, cool.
Very good.
How did you meet them through the internet or just in the city or?
So when I went to Thailand, I've spent like 40 days in Thailand. I did this first eat tour trip for 9 months back in 2013 and 14.
Mm-hmm.
That was before we've met in Nepal. It was 2017. Anyways, so I went to Thailand. I was decided that I wanted to work at a tea farm, and I've tried to send some emails and nobody answered me. But I went still. I knew that the city was Shanghai, so I went to Shanghai. I was doing couch surfing at a Russian girl's place. Um, so I went there, and also I went to Chiang Mai, and one person that answered me, which is Kenneth Rindal. Do you know him?
Yeah. He's got a tea shop in Bangkok, right?
Yeah, he used to have. So he was one of the founders of Tea Shop. I'm not sure if founder or partner,
Okay.
but he used to be part of Tea Shop.
Yeah.
Then he moved to Thailand. Now he owns his own shop. It's called. Wait for it. I'm gonna remember it now.
Yeah, I forget too. But it's all like ecological. As far as what I can see online, like they focus in on all of the like ecological, biodiverse growing environments, which is great.
Yeah, he's just like you, but he's focused in like Southeastern Asia.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes to all around Thailand. So he was the one who told me about this tribe in the west of Thailand. He connected me to these producers, and he also goes to like Burma, Laos, Cambodia, Malaysia.
Mm-hmm.
So he traveled all around, and then he visits like the small tea farms, small growers,
Mm-hmm.
and he helps them, just like the work you were doing in Nepal when we met.
Yeah.
Just the same.
Yeah. It's great that there's champions out there like that.
Yeah.
I recently had a woman apply.
I want to remember the name of his company so I can tell you.
Yeah.
So, I have invited him.
Okay. Today?
In one of my tea sessions. The wives are going in my tea school.
Yeah.
He accepted. I just need to book I need to schedule it. And you are also my guest.
Okay.
I'd like to do
Definitely.
So here he is. Wait, Kenneth Rindal.
Monsoon tea.
monsoon tea, exactly. Yeah, I just found it. So monsoon tea, it's amazing. He buys the specialty teas and he makes blends as well.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. He's very generous.
I know, and it's great that like there's a local market to support him because I think that's most of his business. I've spoke with him before about it because it really intrigues me. You know, I know my own struggles and my clients' struggles that they have with making good business with good tea. But he said that his shop in Bangkok supports him a lot. So that's awesome. That's so good. I think a lot more producers, even like the guys in Nepal that we met that time, or even the small producers in India. They've been so focused on trying to like connect with the international buyers.
Yeah.
Which is good, because the European market and the North American market definitely appreciates value and pays, a better price. But I think that there are totally. Oh, John Bickle's watching from Thailand. Do you know John from International Tea? Oh, John, I'm so sorry, I'm forgetting your. He knows Kenneth. He's cool. Yeah, it's 5 a.m. 5 a.m. Wow, John. Cheers. Cheers to an early morning in Thailand.
Cheers to you. Oh gosh.
Yeah, John is killing me. I've got to cite your blog correctly. John's a pretty good tea blogger.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Oh, John, I'm still looking for it. I feel so bad that I didn't have it on
This is
my mind.
No, sorry. This is my the aged pour from the Lahu tribe.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's like I haven't tasted it much of it. It has like it's delicious. It has um like berry taste. It's
Nice.
delicious.
I love berries.
Yeah. And I didn't taste it at all. Like I really left it for 5 years. It was like a challenge. So within 5 years, I'm gonna open it. So then, like in a special moment, I opened it. Delicious.
John's blog is called Tea in the Ancient World. So, yeah.
So wild tea. I can't make them right now, otherwise I'm not gonna sleep because
have some herbal something. What are you gonna have? Yeah. What is that?
This is the wild tea.
Wild, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be careful with
that. It's like it's processed like green tea. It tastes like something in between a green tea and a pour.
How is the energy in it? Is it pretty strong energy?
No, it's not. Like it has like the fermented note, but the liquor is like yellow, so it's not really fermented. It tastes like fermented. It tastes like a very smooth pour, like maybe in the third infusion.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, but like I was trying to remember the name. Mao. That in that part of the processing when the tea is still raw. Yeah. During the processing, Mao cha.
Mao cha, yeah.
It tastes like Mao cha. Yeah. I'm very sad that the post office is not working because I have like many packages of these. I've bought like a kilo and I could never sell it because Brazilian market is not ready for such different tea. So I could give you some, but I can't. The pump is not working.
Okay, well, when this all clears up, I'll come to Brazil and we can drink it together.
Oh yeah, it's even better. Or we can go to Thailand, and we should go and visit the trees.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right? Awesome. It does like the tour to the trees. It's like a 2-day or 1-day trekking. I was like, I wanna go there. But it wasn't the right period. I was there in the end of April.
Okay.
And go by April. No, it was the end of January, and he said that there is tea available in April
Okay, I see. Yeah, so you have to wait a little bit
because it's like
longer.
very high area.
Mm.
Uh, Usually, like in Thailand, they pluck tea the whole year
Mhm.
because climate's like warm.
Yeah.
But those mountains were 200 meters, 2,000 meters high. I don't know that in feet,
Nice.
but
Yeah, yeah. No, that's high elevation. That's nice.
yeah,
What a cool experience.
yeah.
I
And
haven't.
I was spending some time in like I slept in their tents, like indigenous tents. It was a bamboo house with nothing, just
Yeah.
me and the bamboo rice, bamboo
Yeah.
rice inside the bamboo.
Yeah. Yeah,
And the fire.
I love those types of places where everything is made of bamboo. Just love it. The floor, the spoon, the cup you're
The
drinking
bamboo
out of.
champion. Yeah. In Hong Kong, they even do like those things for constructions.
Yeah, yeah. The scaffolding, yeah.
How's it called?
Scaffolding.
Scaffolding.
Scaffolding. Scaffolding. Yeah.
Oh, scaffolding.
That like the exoskeleton around the building so that they can walk around. Yeah.
Yeah.
The bamboo's
so
really strong for that.
Bamboo.
Mm-hmm.
They make it with bamboo in Hong Kong. It's like what?
Yeah. Yeah, no, they do that throughout most of Asia, actually.
Yeah.
You expect to see it from like the developing world, like the rural areas. You expect to see bamboo construction, but it's like really refreshing to see it even in like Hong Kong, like more urban areas where like, but they're still using these very primitive tools.
It's both primitive and modern in the way that we should all be doing that.
Yeah.
Not doing more stuff. Garbage. We should be using nature.
True that. Yeah, more nature. Because yeah, if we use nature, like it's only gonna work with us, because it's adaptive and resilient and gonna work with us. It's only when we start trying to like use all these things that we make ourselves that we think are better than what nature has to offer that we start seeing problems.
Yeah, exactly. And it's ready. And it's like bio. It's not waste, so it's just perfect.
Yeah, it's always ready too. Bamboo grows like crazy. It's like it's problematic actually. You need to cut it and use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday I was talking about industrial hemp. I don't know in Brazil. Maybe you can update me on that. It's a big thing here in the States with CBD. It's like a compound. It's one of the cannabinoids in industrial hemp that can help with anxiety or there's several different health benefits that people are starting to investigate and market products under. But the hemp plant, which is related to the cannabis plant, like here in the States was outlawed. Like, because it had something to do with cannabis, so it was like a drug, so we couldn't grow it. But it's a very traditionally used fiber, like rope. You've heard of hemp rope, even hemp clothes, and it can be even used in construction materials. And it grows even faster than bamboo. It grows crazy. And so it's kind of an exciting thing here in the States that the industry is booming so much. Like just in 2017, the US government made it legal to grow the hemp. Mm-hmm. And then at the same time, the medical field started investigating using hemp for CBD. But now actually you're starting to see that was kind of like a market kind of bubble. Like it wasn't really authentic, like the way that everybody kind of built it up to be the next big thing. But all the farmers planted all this hemp everywhere thinking they were going to make all the money. So now we have all these hemp farms everywhere and totally an opportunity to find other, more fiber related applications for that plant material.
You should start having like hemp schools, so be educated about it, and then they can consume it more in a more conscious way.
Mm-hmm. How is it in Brazil? Is it a popular product, or are people talking about it?
It's popular, but it's still illegal.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, you can't. Even you can't like grow like I think you can grow up to 2 plants in your place, and if you have more, you're considered a drug dealer already.
So yeah, that's for the cannabis, but what about hemp? Like those are they're like kind of female and male plants. So
Okay, I don't know the difference. Can you explain it to me? Like in
um so the cannabis plant produces the THC, which is the makes you high.
uh-huh,
But then
uh-huh.
hemp, which is like the male plants, they
Okay.
don't they don't produce the THC.
Uh-huh.
Um, or they can, but you can make it where they
They
don't.
don't have the flowers because it comes from the flowers, right? Like
Yeah,
the
they
special.
don't get the flowers with the THC, and so but it does create other cannabinoids. There are other compounds that researchers are finding are good for anxiety, or good for like pain
Parkinson.
relief, or different things. So
Yeah, like in Brazil, people don't even talk about it because the plant is forbidden. They
mm,
don't even think about, growing hemp instead of cannabis.
yeah,
It's not a subject. It's not even a subject here. That's the thing.
interesting. Well, it should become one. I think
Yeah.
like once the U.S. kind of figures its way out on it, and we do start getting some like factories that are producing, because they can make like concrete from hemp. They can make building bricks and other building materials, and then paper and clothing. And so like once all that infrastructure starts getting built here, and we start seeing the benefits from that, of these like really renewable sources of those types of consumables that we need,
Yeah.
I think the rest of the world will start following. But I know
Yeah.
China has started growing a lot of industrial hemp.
Oh,
So
okay.
once China starts getting into things, it'll blow up. So
Yeah, I mean Brazil, like right now, the president is very like strict, very conservative.
hmm
So I'm sure it's not gonna happen within the next few years,
yeah,
but later. And I think that maybe for medicinal use, I don't know if they get like the male plants because like when you plant it, you don't know either if it's male or female, and then the female you can use it for opening your conscience, let's say, with instead of saying getting high, because it's a sacred plant, right? If
yeah,
you think about
yeah, yeah, yeah. It is.
something else. So you don't get that, and then maybe that's why they do other stuff with the male plant. I don't know. I'm just like bragging about it, but yeah, I don't know. I think that sometimes at a certain point, it's gonna be accepted as like for medicinal use, but the cannabis, the hemp, I have no idea because like in Brazil, there are so many, so many different plants that can be used for so many different reasons. Like just like that for fibers and for everything.
Yeah.
We have different sorts of bamboos and different sorts of trees. So people are studying that. Like even the alcohol,
hmm
we have out of sugar cane here. So like even the sugar cane can be used for many stuff like that. So I
hmm
don't think that people are gonna focus on hemp. I think they're still like focus on other plants because
hmm
they're already doing that.
I see.
But for cannabis for medicinal use, I think it's gonna happen. In Uruguay, it's already legal, I think. I
Yeah.
guess.
So yeah, I just did a really quick Google search, and it looks like at the end of last year, just a few months ago, that the courts started to allow individual businesses to get involved in hemp cultivation.
In the
So yeah, you'll
U.S.
probably start seeing a lot of changes
In
in
the U.S.
no in Brazil.
Oh, okay. I had
Yeah,
no idea.
yeah.
Thanks, Google.
So that's all being regulated by Anvisa. Anvisa, that I
Oh,
guess that's like a Brazilian bureaucratic organization.
it's a food safety.
Okay, yeah. So they were the ones to pass this on December 8th. of
Last year?
2019. Yeah, so brand new.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But for industrial use.
Yeah, well, it doesn't specify medicinal use. That is one main use of it, but this is for hemp, so industrial hemp. So this is not
Okay.
for the THC, marijuana. This is for
Okay.
um, yeah, for CBD or for building materials. So the regulations that they set is that the hemp seeds. So this is all to do with like the the varieties, like cultivars that get made and tea. The same thing happens in this industry as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Mm-hmm.
THC concentration of the hemp seeds that are allowed to be grown in Brazil is below 0.3%. So I know here in the United States it has to be less than, I think, 0.1%. Um, so yeah, that's how they regulate it. Yeah.
It's funny because it's like vigilância sanitária. It's like sanitary regulation system, but it's mostly for things you can, like food and medicine, drugs, like medicinal drugs, not drugs like medicine.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like for those other uses, it's probably something else. Then we have another agency which is called MAPA. It's for agricultural products. So probably they would just go on that one.
I see. So yeah, this one is regulating that it can't be grown like cannabis. It has to be very low in THC. So the variety of the seeds you're allowed to grow have to be really like almost no THC in it.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah. So yeah, it's an interesting area of study. There has been a lot of positive anecdotal results of applying CBD for even children that are dealing with epilepsy or seizures. It helps like regulate the body. And a lot of families say that their children have been seizure free only because of CBD. So
that's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna search for whoever's doing that.
Yeah, so it's a new area in Brazil, and so yesterday what I was talking about is that here in the States, CBD and tea products has become really popular. It's so popular that some of the tea festivals have like designated areas just for all of the CBD products, the CBD tea products. So someone in India commented that it's banned in their country, and yes, I know that those things are banned, but they also grow crazy. I was in India last year, and we were trying to meet some new farmers for our Ayurvedic herbs. And one of the farms that we went to, it's like as we're driving up to the farm, I'm seeing like cannabis plants. The leaf, it's very identifiable. And I'm like, wow, there's cannabis here. Okay, I've heard that it grows like a weed in India, but I've never seen it before. Actually, no, I take that back. I have seen it before. I saw it at like a hostel one time, but that was very intentional that they were growing it for their foreign guests. But so I was like seeing, one by one these cannabis plants, and then we get out of the car and meet the farmer, and he's giving us a tour of all of his crops, and he has a kind of newer project that he's launching. So a lot of his crops are, very young, and you can tell that he's still working new land. And, just like to the left of where we were was just like 5-hectare space area, expansive area that's going to be, a different crop. But it was just filled with cannabis, like tall. Some of the trees taller than me. And I was just like, wow, this is amazing. Something like that, if you come across it, here in the States, like that's usually a very protected place, and you would never find yourself in a place like that unless you're meant to be there. And so I asked the farmer, I said, what is this stuff over here? And he says, oh, it's just weeds. That's just the next field that we're going to work on. That's just weeds over there. And
Oh my god.
I said, yeah, it's weed. Like, what do
The
you?
weed, not just a weed.
But yeah, I didn't actually, I found two female plants that had the flowers. Everything else was just the male plants. So,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
he definitely wasn't using that for getting high. And then I had asked some other people about it, and they're like, yeah, like it grows here, it spreads like this, and it does grow like a weed like this, but like we don't consume it. But then,
Okay.
and that was during the holy time, and in the city, in the capital city, you know, there was like vendors giving out this bong, the drink that they have during
Oh.
holy, and it's like a
Uh-huh.
juice. They like juice the cannabis leaves, and they make like a mango lassi with the cannabis. And yeah, we were drinking it. Even the grandma drank it. Everybody drank it, and it was like a very, you know, important cultural part of that spring festival for them.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, even grandma got high. Yeah, we all got a little loose. So it is consumed. It's banned, but it's like it's for cultural reasons. It's, you know, permissible, and but yeah, it's not like a widely used thing there. But it could
Mm-hmm.
make for a really good fiber crop. You know, like if that farmer was to harvest all of those weeds, he could, you know, process them into useful things at his farm, and rope, or you know, even building materials, because it's a very strong fiber.
So when are you planning to go back to India?
When everything clears up, yeah, I was supposed to be there like during this
Me
time.
too. Like my plane ticket was for last Monday. I'm so pissed that I'm not back. So I was gonna bring a group. It will
Yeah.
be my first expedition with a group because I've
Okay.
been solo
Yeah.
for like since 2013,
Mhm.
and it was like the first time I'm bringing some people. We're gonna go probably in the end of September or October. So if you wanna join us, it would be
Okay.
nice.
Yeah. Hopefully, the everything is good by September.
Yeah, I hope so. We haven't bought the tickets yet, of course. Like we got the refund, so I'm just gonna wait for it. Like if
Yeah.
we buy three months in advance, it's fine. Like about the price, you know.
Yeah. 3 months is enough. I mean, I think that traveling costs are going to stay pretty low for a long time. So I'm not really like in a hurry to, you know, buy any tickets for anticipated travel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we shouldn't. Yeah, we don't know how it's gonna be. I think the whole world's gonna be different. Like
Hmm.
people are gonna be so like when the gates are opened. Like how do you say this?
Quotations?
Quotations. Yeah,
Yeah.
like side quotes. When the gates are open, I
Yeah.
think people are not gonna behave the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Like you're always if you didn't get the corona, the COVID, you'll be afraid to get it. So you won't hug people, you won't kiss people. And in Brazil, people are very touchy. So Brazilian people are definitely gonna change a lot. You know,
Yeah.
like in the U, you just shake your hands or something. Like in Brazil, you kiss even who you
Yeah.
don't know. It's not in the mouth, but like on the cheek.
Yeah.
So so then it's it's something crazy. I don't know what's gonna happen. Even like flights, I think people are not gonna they're trying not to touch each other, you know. I think
Yeah.
it's gonna be weird.
Yeah.
Mask for a long time. I was just wondering about it, like how's the world gonna be after that, after the lockdown?
I don't know. I mean, I hope that we just practice love with each other, you know, in whichever way that, you know, can be safely expressed. Ultimately, it's love for one another, and I feel like that's already happening. I don't know from your experience just being out and about and seeing how people are strangers are interacting with each other, but there is just like
Yeah.
extra attention I'm seeing. Like when I go out for a run or for a walk in the neighborhood, everybody that's out on the street and about, even from far away, is like waving and saying hi. Um, so that's good. I think that
Yeah.
will carry on. Like maybe our expressions of greeting each other will be different. Like in y'all's case, no hugging and kissing, but I think people are still
More
gonna want
empathy.
that.
I think that there's more empathy going on already.
Yeah, definitely. People just want to help out.
About the tea situation in India, I should ask my friends there because they were supposed to start like to go back plucking on April 14th, which
Hmm.
was it was supposed to be the end of the lockdown. Maybe someone from India who's watching you can answer that because
Yeah.
they should back plucking like within like a social distance and something. They were like talking about it. I did a live with Prabhat Besborua. He's the chairman of the Tea Board of India and
Hmm.
TRA, which is the Tea Research Association, the largest tea research center in the world. So he told me those stuff, but I have spoken to him these days, but I haven't asked him about the tea plucking. I should.
Yeah, I've been talking to some folks, and yeah, they've been allowed to employ 50% of their normal labor force to
Okay,
get back out in the fields, and not. I don't think that the focus right now is on producing, but it's more on skiffing and getting ready for the second flush. Like pruning down and getting ready for the second flush. Because with that 50% labor force, it's kind of difficult for them to do everything. And then it's also late in the season too. So,
yeah.
but I know for like the small producers, the small farmers that I work with, they've they've been all trying, like doing very small batch processing just on their own, which is great. And I'm hoping that results in a lot of really great teas. But there was someone from India watching, so maybe yeah, he's here. He says yeah, right. Yeah, so 50%. At first, it started with 15%, 15%. That was like at the beginning of April, like I think April 4th.
1 5. Oh my god.
Yeah, on April 4th, they allowed that much. But then by the end of the lockdown, they ended up changing that to 50%. Um, how
Time
much
is it?
that's being
No, it's
enforced, who
8.
knows?
It's like 4 or something in India. So Prabha's not gonna be. Wait. 7:30. It's 8.5 hours more. So it's
Yeah,
actually
it's very, very early in the morning there.
it's 4 a.m. in India.
Very, very early.
Yeah, very, very.
But yeah, I mean, something that I've been talking with my friends about, because I'm getting messages every day from them asking me what they should do. They're like, should we make tea? Like, the small farmers can go out to their fields and harvest some tea, and I can process it. But should I make it? How is the market looking? I think the market will potentially be pretty flooded with tea, and with how it's pretty much paused. Uh, even Coca-Cola coming to a pause. That's what I was talking about earlier. Like that Coca-Cola is at a 25% reduction in their total production right now. That's
Yeah.
huge. Even for a big company
Even
like that.
they start like I've told you that here in Brazil I'm a consultant to their tea company.
Yeah.
And I was having many ideas like, oh, I should make like a tea drink and tea food and this and that. And then I was sending to their marketing group,
Mm-hmm.
and they were, Danny, that's very exciting, but we've shut down all of the marketing from all of the brands of Coca-Cola, except for Coca-Cola. So no marketing at all because we don't want to induce people to go to like supermarkets and crowded places. I thought that was like a very noble thing to do.
Wow. Yeah. Well, it may have not been 100% that reasoning. It could be
Yeah, I know. I always look at the bright side, oh, they're so cute. So I know that's not why, but still it's cute.
Yeah, it's yeah, it's important that yeah, we see everybody struggling. It's not just the small companies that are struggling. So the tea producers have to make some very difficult decisions on, okay, well, what are we going to produce now, and where's the market going to be 6 months from now, because that's kind of what a farmer has to do. They have to prepare for where the market is going. So I think even the large tea buyers are not going to be um, demanding a whole lot this season. So
I think that people drink tea and they will keep on drinking tea. People are like addicted to tea.
mm-hmm.
Not really addicted, but like so used to it they can't stop drinking it.
Mm-hmm.
So he told me that like in India they were saying that all the tea that was in Kolkata and Delhi and Mumbai, it was enough. Like in the tea shops, it was enough for people to consume till April 14th. And then I should talk to him again about it because I don't know right now. But then, so he said like the quantity of tea, the amount of tea that was already done would be enough, but that they didn't know what would happen because there is no first flush,
Mm-hmm.
Anyways. And another information from Germany. So I've met this guy in India. He's from Lebensbaum. It's the largest organic tea and coffee company in Germany. They were awarded many ecological awards and stuff. So Henning, he's one of the headmasters, and then one of the directors. And then he came to one of my lives as well, and he told me that their sales they had grown up because people were so desperate about getting their tea.
Yeah.
They thought something like 200% more.
Wow.
And then everybody was working from home because they couldn't stop working, and they were selling all of their tea.
Yeah.
And teas. So
did you ask him what channel that was through? Was that through their own website or through Amazon or?
I think that wholesale mostly.
So
but I'm gonna ask him that question.
Yeah, no, I think that's a big thing to look at because people are buying things like tea, but I think they're using things like Amazon. Like I've had a couple of friends that reached out to me to buy tea, and thank goodness they did, because they're supporting good tea and local business. But they said, oh yeah, my mom was about to just buy a bunch of tea on Amazon. And, we usually don't buy tea on Amazon, but that's just, my mom just felt like she was going to do it like that. And I think Amazon is a very difficult place to buy tea because it's so price competitive. It's like the grocery store, it's like everything has to be really affordable and, all based on the brand. It's really hard to sell good quality tea on Amazon, but it's a successful channel. So I don't know, maybe that'll be my next project, to try to educate the Amazon market about tea quality, because that's the problem.
That's good. You can do a good consultancy project there. Yeah.
Well, I don't know who's going to pay me to consult on that. I may have to just do it out of the kindness of my heart. Yeah, because anybody that's got money, that's pumping money into Amazon marketing, they don't care about quality of product, because that's what wins, is just that you have a good brand, that you have, good reviews, and, most of your budget is not going towards the cost of the goods. It's going towards all your marketing, and your time to do marketing. But, I have had some clients have success on Amazon, but it's only through selling products that are not loose leaf tea, like tea
bags.
No, not tea bags. Like it's something like a whole new category of product on Amazon because like I think that's how Amazon shoppers work is they're price sensitive and they compare products. And they compare like apples to apples type of thing, you know? And Amazon makes it very easy for the user to do that too because as you're searching a product, Amazon will recommend other things that you know, oh, you should check this out, you should check that out and of course the pricing is like front and center. And so if you're selling like a Dragonwell tea, for example, or a Darjeeling tea, for example, there are like a ton of other of that same category of product and name of product on Amazon at very low prices to be competitive. Um, so it's really hard for you to stand out, for your product to stand out, unless you have like
And
thousands
quality,
of
all about
reviews.
price.
Yeah, it's all about price. But if you have a new product that has no other comparable on the platform, then
Mm.
you
To
know it's
start selling mate, Elise. According to you. Seriously, I was trying to send mate to a friend in the US,
uh-huh.
and then that's I realized that the post office is not working abroad. And then I checked, like I googled in some places, some grocery stores and shops. It's that easy to find mate in the US. So maybe
it's not so easy. You're right. I think Amazon probably. Let me just do a quick search on Amazon. I'm sure Amazon's got a bunch.
Check on this.
What is that? What is that?
It's a plant. It's called malva. Wait, but it's dry already.
Okay.
It smells amazing. Let me check the botanic name.
Okay.
So I've got it from an agroforestry farm here. They're delivering like vegetables and fruits, and also they sell herbal tea. So it's amazing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Are there agroforestry farms in the U.S.?
Yeah, there are. A lot of them in Hawaii, where I used to live.
Oh.
There's some beautiful tea farms, agroforestry tea farms in Hawaii.
Really? Mm-hmm. Do you have the contacts? I want to go there.
Yeah. I mean, the real agroforestry ones, they don't really accept guests there. You know, they're very private people. You know.
Yeah, but like I'm very close to all the people growing tea in agroforestry here in Brazil. And we do have a project with the government of India, with the Tea Board and the TRA, to grow some area. We're going to start an experimental area with Familias Sinensis in agroforestry in Jorhat, in Assam. I'm very excited about it. Well, we should be doing it right now, so I'm sad. I haven't started, but we will learn how to do that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of mate on Amazon. There's even this. I'm trying to see how much it is. Oh, it's a kilo bag. A kilo bag for $28. Yeah, there's a lot of options for mate. It's hard to get mate from like the grocery store, unless you know, like they're like Latin American stores, especially in larger cities, where you can definitely find mate. But on the internet, you know, on Amazon, there's tons of options.
Yeah, I've looked on Amazon, but then most of them are Argentinian mate. Nothing against it, but I wanted to find Brazilian mate. No, it's really I
yeah,
really
no, got it. Understood.
I've lived in Argentina, so I love Argentinian mate. The Malva cheirosa.
Yeah, there's definitely less options for Brazilian, but
called Malva silvestris. I'm gonna send it to you on the chat.
That's
herbal tea.
That's that herbal tea that you're having.
Yeah.
Hi, Wani. Good to see you.
It smells amazing. It really smells amazing.
I do like the idea of like what you were describing as like ready to drink mate service, like that culture of like the on the beach where you can have like a ready to drink cold mate drink. I like that
Mm-hmm.
idea.
Yeah, so this so like Leon, which means lion,
Mm-hmm.
Coca-Cola's brand in Brazil. Oh, I have the this one.
Okay.
It's my notebook. So they do have like the roasted mate ready to drink,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very popular, as I was saying the other day. And there's this company. They export to the U.S. and they have that ready to drink in the U.S. in many shops in the U.S. The name is wait.
Guayaki.
Yeah, Guayaki. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, that's a big company.
Yeah, so these guys, they're with me in the that project I told you. We're doing sensory analysis for mate.
Okay.
We're defining the terroirs for mate.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody has done it yet, so we're doing that. Yeah, and they have the RTD mate there in the US. Like
So the guayaki is from Argentina.
Brazil.
Oh, from Brazil. Oh, okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So what have you guys discovered so far with that terroir study? I'd be interested to hear what differences or what's known so far.
So what is known so far is that the market is very closed. So we've tried to reach people. Like we're a group, we're an NGO and we want to do this and that. And they're very like resistant. We've made like a form on Google form.
Yeah.
With asking for the different processing methods they're using. Because so like mate is very complex, just like Camellia sinensis, in a different way. So the machines that are used, the procedures that are used, they change completely the product. So at first, we need to know who is doing what, like which kinds of processing methods. So then we can choose like one processing method and then get samples from all the areas comparing that processing method.
Yeah.
Otherwise we can't compare. You can't compare different processing. Then you can't get the terroir note. You can't.
Yeah.
We're trying to do that, and then people aren't attending much because most of them, they're like, oh, it's a tradition from my family. We can't open that data, And then we're like, we just want to help, we want to help the mate market to grow and to bring it abroad. Can you imagine, like, if I come to the US and I say, okay, there are 7 kinds of mate from 7 different areas in Brazil and some other areas in Argentina and this and that. So that makes the product stronger. That's for the marketing, just like Rooibos, so like Rooibos.
Mm-hmm.
So we're working on that, and right now we just got the sponsorship from the largest business support company, something like that in Brazil. It's a public thing, and they support entrepreneurs. So they're getting into the research right now, and they are signing it. So then we're trying it again to reach those people, but with that signature, which changes everything. because that's known all over Brazil, and that's a very powerful institution in Brazil. So we're working on that right now, and the plan is to get, well, usually the plucking, they start doing the processing and everything by May, middle May. So our idea was to get the samples by the end of May or June, but not all of them are processing right now, so we don't know what's going to happen with the project. We're in that point when we need to convince the younger generations that's something good, because the older generations, they're not convinced. And mate in Brazil is something very traditional. So it's like if you go to a Chinese tea farm and you say, "Can you tell me which methods are you using?" They're not gonna tell you. It's a little bit like that, Because I'm like, "Oh, I've just started my company. Okay, I can share the data with you. I've been sharing this and that." No, it's like my grandfather has been doing that for like decades. I can't share it.
Yeah.
It's a challenge.
So something that I've noticed with the marketing of herbal products outside of Camellia sinensis teas is that it's really difficult to attach additional value to a product due to its terroir and the merit around its terroir. Tea is unique. Of course, if you were trying to like compare, tea bags, or a consumer that's wanting, that convenience or that certain flavor profile for their sugar and milk, it'd be hard to convince them. Take a little bit of extra effort to convince them to change their perspective around tea. But with herbal products, it's even more difficult. So, I mean, that's like one of the main reasons why I haven't been able to aggressively expand into importing herbs from, small farms. Because a lot of the farms that we work with, they don't just grow tea, they grow other stuff too. So I could totally import their other stuff and sell it. But the competitive market price for it is so low. Even organic certified, fair trade certified, and there's not really like a quality differentiator to justify to the consumer that this product has higher quality and should cost more. Because unless we're importing these products in very, very large quantities to get the logistics costs down to something really competitive, like we can't justify someone should buy this hibiscus flower because it's really high quality. It's coming from this single terroir and this single plantation, and we know it's organic and we know it's ethical. Because the market is just been so used to buying their hibiscus at such a low price. And tea is a little bit easier, right? Because there is skill in that processing, and there is a market that appreciates tea as like an art form, and is willing to support with a higher price, a higher value. I mean.
And what about rooibos?
Rooibos also. Anything outside of tea, it's all very difficult to market at a higher value, higher quality rooibos. Same thing with chamomile, same thing with lemongrass. I mean, all of the herbs, it's very, very price competitive, even if it's higher quality.
If I think of rooibos and chamomile, I see a difference because you can grow chamomile in the US, but you can grow rooibos or mate in the US. Mm-hmm. So maybe that justifies that you import it. And of course, that probably not many people are gonna want to pay like very high price rooibos or very high price mate. But about distinguishing it from the terroir doesn't only mean that we're gonna have like extraordinary high quality product, but that we can differentiate it. We can split it like a little bit like what they're doing. It's like in a much more simple way, but that you can buy like green rooibos and then rooibos, and before you could only buy rooibos. Of course, that's much more simple. It's not about the terroir, it's about the processing. but it's like exploring more ways on the same herb. I'm just trying to get ideas like on how to enhance the marketing for mate. And in Brazil, like Bangla, it really works very well for coffee.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how it is in the US. Like when you hear about coffee, Brazilian coffee, if you get just the name Brazilian coffee, or if you get the name Brazilian coffee from this area or that area.
Mm-hmm.
It's more about, it's not only about terroir in a way, like about high quality, but about like DOC,
Mm-hmm.
you know? I don't know how to say that in English. Denominação de origem controlada, like controlled origin denomination.
Yeah.
Denomination.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even for coffee, you can find Brazilian coffee, and it's usually just going to be labeled as Brazilian. If you go to like a fourth wave coffee roaster that's like doing all their own sourcing and roasting in house, then you may see like specific terroir notes from a Brazilian coffee. But yeah, coffee is not really at that point here just yet. There is kind of like a niche, fourth wave movement, but even that is still very, because there's so much importance on the roasting. And so these places, like, the coffee is very good, and they're very geeky and science oriented in how they prepare the coffee and evaluate the coffee, but it's like really a lot more of the focus is on the roasting, and for good reason, because the roaster is there and the roaster can talk about those things, and the roaster will say, this bean was sourced from a very good relationship that we have, and is coming from very good land, and like they will talk about some terroir notes, but most of the talk is on like the roasting and the brewing of the coffee. Wine is much more sophisticated in that sense, and so that's why I think like anybody that's trying to do work around terroir should definitely look at what's already established in the wine world, and the research that's already been done there. I was actually interviewed by a PhD student in France that's doing a PhD on terroir and how it relates to marketing, and so this might be really kind of applicable to the work that you're doing. And so he says that there's a lot of terroir information on wine, and not a whole lot of it is like connected to like the market effects. Like, how does that affect the marketing of a product? And so because there's not a lot of data out there, he kind of has to create that data, and even create kind of the directions of where research will go. So the type of thesis that he's writing for his PhD is interviewing all these terroir experts around the world, and not just wine. So he had reached out to me because he identified me as a top tea terroir expert. He said there was like another man he interviewed from Europe, I forget, but he said he talked to people in cacao, he talked to people in coffee, he identified all of these like terroir products outside of wine to see how market is affecting terroir, or how terroir is affecting marketing. And
Amazing.
he said that he was gonna send me like his final analysis after he digests all the interviews, and comes up with like suggested areas of research. He hasn't sent that to me yet, but I could definitely send you the transcript of our interview. He had like made it's like an hour long, and
I love that.
yeah, I'll send that to you. Yeah, Priscilla, she said it was an interesting interview. I'd sent it to her. Anybody that talks about terroir, I say we should read this. Like, I was kind of caught off guard with the interview. Like, I didn't go in prepared, and no one had ever like asked me like about tea terroir in like that sense. More than just like, oh, where's the tea come from? What are the varieties? But like in the sense of like, how do we understand it better and employ it better into marketing? And um, I just basically said, okay, so the only market I know of that like truly values tea on like a connoisseur level, like how wine is appreciated around the world, is China. And so the Chinese buyers market is like, mm, when you sit and evaluate tea with them and see like what they're looking for in tea when they're deciding if they're going to spend like a really high price on a tea, they're mostly like looking at like the chi, which is like this very kind of like metaphysical, like spiritual type of evaluation that you have to make. Um, and I said, yeah, I'm sure you guys don't get much of that kind of conversation in wine, but those are the conversations that are had at the tea buying table in China. And yeah, it's really interesting. So yeah, I'll send that interview for you. You can check it out, and yeah, perhaps you can get in touch with the guy too, because he wanted me to like put him in touch with people that are working with other terroir products.
You know, like the thing about terroir, like maybe I should explain it better. Like this is already happening in Brazil. It's not something I'm doing. It's something that the producers are doing themselves. You know, like they're grouping in associations and starting to create these DOC. I don't know how to translate it. Like for wine,
Yeah.
areas. Um, so they're doing that, but what nobody's doing is comparing them. So our job, our work, our project is about comparing them and telling people, like telling the whole Brazilian market, and probably by what you're telling me about herbal teas and how you can or cannot sell it in the US, probably it's gonna work better for Brazilians, like for the inside market and not for exporting. Maybe at first, maybe within 15 years, it's gonna be helpful for exporting, but like in Brazil, the terroir thing really works for coffee. If you go to any specialized coffee shops, and there are so many in Brazil, they're popping up in every corner. Really, there's so many coffee shops here. So whoever likes coffee should come to Brazil right now. It's really trending, and you can have it, like very good, extraordinary good,
That's
really good
so
coffee.
good to hear. That's really good to hear.
Yeah, it's like really good, like from many different areas in Brazil, and they all taste different. So I have a friend who's exporting. He has a coffee club. Maybe you can join it if you like coffee. It's called Mocha Club, but club with an E in the end. It's not written. The website is in Portuguese, but I asked him today, Hugo, I'm gonna start recording videos in English.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna talk about your coffee. Are you ready to export? He said, yeah. Bring it on, he said.
Oh, nice.
So
I see their website now. Yeah, it looks good.
yeah, and their Instagram account is great. So maybe you can have the subscription. It's very cheap. Of course, it will be very cheap for you in dollars, because our money is not much valuable right now. Anyway, so for coffee, it works, and I think that it's gonna work. I know that it's gonna work for mate. Maybe for like inside consuming. So people won't buy only one cup mate, they'll buy 5. So I can have like from all of these different areas, or once I'm gonna buy from Rio Grande do Sul, and then I'm gonna buy from Santa Catarina, and then I'm gonna buy from this and that area.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. I went to Mexico during the holidays and I had noticed that as well, that there were a lot of specialty coffee shops, just like really like humble, small little places. And yeah, coffee's growing in Mexico and they have these specialty shops where having coffee from all these different regions, and it was kind of cool to taste through them and talk with the barista. They were really knowledgeable. So then I went to the grocery store assuming okay, so Mexico has this like really mature, coffee culture. Maybe I can go to the grocery store and buy some, coffee from a specific area and take it back as gifts. And like that was not the case. So, yeah, there's kind of a disconnect between, the mass market, which is unfortunate because that would have been so nice. Like even like the tourist shops that I went to where they have like made in Mexico products. When I was asking about like the chocolate and the coffee, it was like very generic. It was really expensive and then very generic. It didn't have like yeah. So I think yeah, if I bought coffee, I should have bought it from those coffee shops versus trying to just go to a grocery store. But
Yeah, in Brazil it's the same pretty much, but both the coffee and the tea areas in the supermarket are growing. So I'm very happy about it, very excited about it. Um, but like if you wanna buy good coffee, like good coffee, you must buy it in specialized coffee shops. And like 5 years ago, no, even not that, like 3 to 5 years ago, in the supermarket you could only buy like cheap quality coffee, like
mhm,
highly roasted coffee that tastes like nothing,
yeah,
like an extra. uh, and then now you can get both bad coffee and medium coffee, which is already better than just bad coffee,
yeah,
so, so if you can't go to a specialized coffee shop, you can buy a medium coffee, and you can just survive for a few days until you stop by a good quality coffee shop and then buy good coffee.
yeah.
What I do, I just have like that backup coffee, that medium coffee you buy in the supermarket. I just have that one.
Mm,
Uh, I know, I'm sure it's gonna happen for tea as well.
yeah.
Like in Brazil, I can see it very clearly. Like 10 years ago, we were only selling cheap beer here. I know how it was in the U.S., but like here, it was only like that corn cheap horrible beer. And now, like the beer alley in the supermarket is huge,
Yep.
and there are so many um, beer, like artisanal beer crafts, how to say that, people
Yeah,
who are
craft
making
craft beer, yeah.
craft beer.
Yeah.
So there are like so many brands in Brazil. I think Brazilian people, they like to do artisanal stuff. So
Mhm.
also like now for like tea blending brands, there's so many right now. Like I know it's gonna grow a lot. It's growing a lot. All of the like specialty drinks session in Brazil is really trending.
That's good, but like so like my mentality is like okay, it's great that like there is these niche appreciations of quality and opportunities for like good coffee producers or good mate producers to get their product into these niche retailers to appreciate their product. But is that enough to support like a sustainable development in the industry? It's almost like it needs to be more of a mass market thing. So how do we like take this niche, appreciation of value and make it something, more that like the general public can support. Those are like always the questions that I ask and the problems I like to solve.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
I
yeah,
guess that. Sorry, go
uh,
on.
Priscilla had asked where I went to in Mexico, and I just wanted to say I went to like the most touristy place. My sister and her family wanted to do a like an all inclusive beach getaway, so we just went to Puerto Vallarta. But something that was interesting about my experience going to the grocery store there was okay, I went looking for the coffee and all they had was like freeze dried instant coffee and just bad coffee, over roasted coffee, and just wasn't interested. Um, but they had a tea section there and there was like this company, this Japanese company, a Japanese brand, like all the label have Japanese writing on it, but like then a label stuck on top of it that had Spanish. So it was very like a Japanese product. You could tell it was coming from Japan. It was packed there and everything. And they were selling like matcha and even like matcha kits with the whisk and everything. And like the prices of those products was really high. like even more than what you'd see in the tea shops here in the States. So I was like really surprised to see that in the grocery store there. Um, so I mean, I don't know if that was just like a random one-off thing that I saw, but yeah, that just like it felt kind of reassuring. I posted about it, and someone had commented that it was probably not a real representation of what the Mexican market looks like. 'Cause that's a highly tourist area. Um, but still, like this wasn't like a tourist grocery store. This was like a local grocery store, and
I see.
it looked like all like local people, like a lot of the service staff from the resorts and stuff. Like that's where they did their shopping. I didn't see a tourist walking around doing, souvenir shopping. So yeah, that's reassuring that Japanese tea has a potential in Mexico.
Yeah. About your point that you said previously, I
Hmm.
think that like if there are brands with high quality of any product, either coffee or mate or tea, herbal teas,
Hmm.
the commercial brands, they're gonna start putting in better products, and I can see that happening. For example, uh, uh, Coke's local tea brand, they used to have only like regular tea bags, so they would sell either regular tea bags. They had loose leaf roasted mate, because then there are two different markets, one for rosé and another one for green mate,
Hmm.
which is had like chipot, with the straw. Two completely different markets. So they were selling only loose leaf roasted mate, RTD, and loose leaf tea bags, or mostly herbal teas.
Hmm.
Green tea, black tea, mate, and mate with peach, mate with lemon. Um, and then, since the tea market started like growing, they've just launched the pyramid tea bags, So that's in the supermarket right now. Same, same is happening for coffee. Like I said, like previously there were only like cheap, bad quality coffee, and now there's medium quality coffee, and they're even calling it by terroir.
Okay.
It's not so good, but still they're trying, they're making their best. And it's not so expensive as it is if you buy it in a specialty coffee shop. So I think that just, supporting high quality, like if you could dream of the perfect producer and the perfect product, how would it be like? Now I'll make a drawing. So, so if you could dream of it, I think we should support those people because they put high standards on the market. And then the other ones are just gonna come because then the like people who are on top of the pyramid, they're gonna buy from here, and then they're gonna brag about it, and other people are gonna want it, and then the brands which are here, they're gonna want to go up. I think to make the market just grow and the quality go
Yeah.
higher. That's what I think. But I'm very optimistic, as you can see.
I'm with you. I'm very optimistic as well. um,
It's gonna happen. We're gonna win, Elise.
yeah. We just gotta stay. We gotta stay focused and continue fighting. Um,
Like within 15 years, we're gonna be millionaires, and we're gonna be sitting in Thailand, and I'm gonna say, "Oh, please remember when it was so hard?" And like, "Oh, it's so easy," and everybody's drinking tea. I'm sure that's gonna happen. Cheers for that.
yeah. Cheers.
And being millionaires, not meaning buying limousine and stuff, just supporting
Mhm.
small growers. I know that's what you're gonna do with your money. That's what I'm gonna do with my money. I just want to spend it well. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, so Joe's been putting up some pretty good comments. I wanted to kind of catch us up. So his first question was, how do you balance promoting mass market interest while not promoting gluttony and overconsumption? And true connoisseurism doesn't really fit with overconsumption, but I feel like it's difficult to blend mass appeal with grateful appreciation, not saying it's impossible. So, like, by mass market, I don't know if that exclusively has to mean mass production. It just mass market just means like the whole community, not just select elite members of the community, right? So,
Mhm.
and I don't think connoisseurism has to be limited just to that exclusive elite bracket of the community. It could be something that we all practice. And, it doesn't mean that you have lots of money. It just means that you value, to a high degree the things that you appreciate.
Especially if you buy things like organic agroforestry, you're paying a higher price for a higher quality, for higher salaries, for the people who are working. So you're supporting something good. But of course, there is that,
Yeah.
and I'm not very supportive with that, like buying highly expensive tea.
Uh huh.
I have, I'm not so comfortable with that. I wouldn't spend a lot of money. I love tea. I love Camellia sinensis, but I can pay up to something.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't pay like hundreds of dollars in a bottle of wine, even though I would love to taste it. So if you want to offer it to me, I'll taste it.
Yeah.
I'll have it with you. But probably I wouldn't buy it, because then
Yeah.
I think it's like a bit like over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or they're hungry people, so why should
Yeah.
I spend so much money?
Well, I don't think a connoisseur necessarily has to be one that is always buying hundreds of dollars bottles of wine, right? So I think that's where kind of like maybe there's some uh, definitions and perceptions of that word that changes it. So like what I like to do when this happens is like look up the definition of a word, right? So I just looked up the definition of a connoisseur, and this is from Merriam-Webster. So it's like the most generalized dictionary out there. It says one who understands the details, technique, and principles of an art and is competent to act as a critical judge. And the second definition is one who enjoys with discrimination and appreciation of subtleties. Right? So neither of those definitions says that you must spend a lot of money on your products. You know what I mean? So
yeah, definitely. I think it's like extreme. You don't have to go to extremes. You can like good quality tea and good quality wine and not spend a lot of money on it.
Yeah, it just means that whenever you drink it or you consume it, you're like doing it very mindfully. You're doing it to understand why those subtleties are the way that they are. It doesn't mean that you have like a whole cabinet full of these expensive things. It just means that whenever you do consume it, you do focus and you do look deep into it. So I like using that word connoisseur. Actually, when we were doing that music festival a few months ago in San Francisco, we were involved in this like really cool like sustainability minded, environmentally minded conference where we had like a tea house installation, and we were trying to teach people the principle of consuming less and valuing more. And I would like by the time people would leave the table, like they their first time to ever have tea, a lot of them, and they're like, oh, you're such a connoisseur, you're such a connoisseur. And I'd say, yeah, I don't like to call myself a connoisseur. Or what was it? It's like, if I'm a connoisseur, it doesn't mean I'm a snob. It means I'm an environmentalist. Like I consume a whole lot less, but whenever I consume it, I'm like really into it and really finding a lot of value and appreciation for it versus just gobbling everything up and just like mindlessly doing it and not really focusing in on what you're valuing in it. Yeah, so that's important. And I think that like in all of this education work that we've been talking about over the past half hour or hour, whatever, if we do it with that perspective of making connoisseurship and appreciation of products something not exclusive and not for just the elite or the wealthy, I think that would help us a lot in achieving these goals.
Yeah. Also, I think that like, what about it? Like, if you want to have that hobby, it's up to you. Like, there are people who they go shooting for hobby,
Mm-hmm.
Drink your tea. People spend money on much worse things, like even if you go to a bar and you're gonna spend many dollars drinking cheap beer and getting drunk and saying stupid stuff. I'm not saying I don't do that, or not saying stupid stuff. I try not to, but not that I don't go to bars and drink cheap beer. But you can either do that or drink tea, and it's not even so expensive. Like it's 2 grams.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a lot. Like for a hobby, it's not an expensive hobby, and it's a very like good hobby. You can have it with your friends, and you're not gonna get drunk, so that's good for everyone. You won't give trouble to anyone by drinking tea.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not disturbing anyone. You're just being happy. You're getting cured. Even if you drink, what I think is, even if you drink tea for pleasure, you're being healed because the cure is within the plant. It's not a choice.
Mm-hmm.
You're curing yourself by drinking tea. So it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we just gotta communicate that value and do it in an approachable way, And I think that that's something in wine that it was done in kind of this elitist type of way, and I don't think that we should do that for tea at all. We should make it something inclusive that is simple and easy to do, but then at the same time super healing and super valuable in our life. And yeah, you don't have to buy a lot of it. Just buy a little bit of it and really appreciate it.
And you can do 3 infusions.
Mm-hmm.
Up
Mm-hmm.
3 any of the products, so it's a lot. I always tell people, so right now I'm gonna make you richer. Wealthier. You can brew tea up to 3 times, and they're like, wow.
I like that. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you get wealthier.
Yeah, right.
That's a good one.
They get super excited. So if it's 20 reais, like 20 grams of tea here is around $5, $5 to $6. So like really, instead of making 10 teacups, you can make 20 or 30 teacups. So it's not expensive at all.
Yeah. It's a good point. I mean that point gets made all the time, but I like how you introduce it by saying I'm going to help you become wealthier.
Okay.
Because people do like to hear that.
Yeah. You can sell an online. We can sell an online course.
Yeah.
Our free online course. We're gonna get rich with that course. Maybe. And then we can support the small tea farmers.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I'm feeling good. This was a good way to round out the conversation. And pretty much I've stayed on track the whole live stream of talking about the same things, that we can find a lot of sustainability and prosperity in smaller amounts. It's all based on the perspective of how we see the value of it. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
It was great to talk to you.
Yeah, it was good to catch up with you, and I'm sure we'll be catching up more. I hope you had a good dinner. How was your dinner?
Oh, it was good. I had some Italian food. I don't know how to say that in English. It's called polenta.
Oh yeah, polenta is nice.
Yeah, it was so good because it's getting cold here, so it's good to have like warm food.
Yeah.
Did like tomato sauce with fresh tomatoes from the agroforestry farm. So yeah.
Oh, that's
good
nice.
Tomatoes are good. Like you can get bad tomatoes, but then good tomatoes are good tomatoes. Just like good tea is good tea.
Yeah. That's usually like the example that people give when they talk about like farm fresh produce compared to grocery produce is a tomato. Is like if you've never tasted a homegrown tomato, you haven't tasted a tomato yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it makes a lot of difference.
Same for tea. I think that And I think about like connoisseurs, um, connoisseurs or sommeliers. They're people who enjoy they enjoy having good quality, not meaning price, but like good flavors. I really like tasting food. I love food, and I love tea, and I love coffee, and I love wine. I just love what I can feel it in my mouth, because tastes are amazing.
Yeah.
Thank God we have 5 or 6 senses. It's so good to explore them.
Yeah.
So I think that having tea is about that, that those are like small pleasures that we can get with mindfulness. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
As simple as that. It's
Yeah.
not snobbish at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Simple, like humble. Let me stay here. I don't want to do anything. I just want to stay here, drinking tea, and like feeling the flavors and the smell. So it's so simple.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad that we're talking about this, and I hope that we continue to talk about this, like within these types of platforms, but then also within our own relationships and our communities. I think that this is such an important message to share with the world and get people focused on. Yeah, because it can bring so much like prosperity and happiness to us as individuals, but then also to the world as a whole. So, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
Great. Well, thanks for that time.
Yeah.
It was great here with you, having beer and having tea and herbal tea. So
yeah, thank you so much, Dani.
On Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday. Yeah, Tea Talks on Thursday. We'll see you then. And yeah, let me know about your live stream. I'd love to come on and chat with you there sometime.
Yeah. So tomorrow I'm launching some videos. I'm launching actually my first video in English because I was just doing stuff in Portuguese. At first I wasn't doing stuff at all, like last year, and then I said, no, I gotta do that. I gotta do Instagram. I gotta do YouTube. So I'm launching my YouTube channel next week. And then tomorrow I'm launching my first Instagram TV video in English and Spanish. So Priscilla can watch it in Spanish as well.
Awesome.
Even though she understands perfectly in English. Yeah, that's it. And then for the next English lives, I'll let you know because most of them are in Portuguese.
Okay.
Looking for like other platforms where we can record the conversations and then put at least subtitles, because most of the people I interview, maybe they're geniuses, in their subject, but they not necessarily speak English. So subtitles can work. Otherwise, I'm going to start recording the videos in English and the tea sessions in English as well. I'll let you know.
Okay, great. Awesome.
And let's do another festival. I'm into it.
Yeah. I'm planning on restreaming another one for the Reddit community. So yeah, once that gets all.
I've answered your email.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think we'll get a good little group of people together and we'll get to do it again. Yeah, look forward to that.
We'll be the Happy Tea Society.
Yeah, I like that, the Happy Tea Society. All right, Dani. Well, have a great night. Thank you so much.
Bye, you too.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye. Good evening.
Goodbye. Bye, everybody. See you next